What are you putting up with? Think about that. It can be a frustrating question to think about, but there are lots of things that we put up with in our lives because we think it's a little bit easier. We think it's easier to just let that bad behavior go on and continue rather than address it. But after a while, or even the first time, it takes a toll on us. What we're doing is we are compromising ourselves and we are not showing up as our most powerful version of ourselves if it's problematic for us. There are times when you're like, live and let live, you go do your thing, that's fine, it's not affecting me, no skin off my back, right? But there are many times when people exhibit certain behaviors, speak to us in certain ways, and it's just like death by a thousand paper cuts. Death by a thousand paper cuts is like little by little, it can wear away at our self confidence, it can wear away at our internal power. And we start to avoid that person rather than get into what we consider to be conflict. So here's what I encourage you to do. First of all, prioritize those things that make you feel smaller, things that you feel like wear away at your internal power. When you felt like you had low power, who were the people involved? Were there conversations there? Was it an internal conversation? Hey, I got to tell on myself. I noticed I had low power several times when I was just having an internal conversation. I was playing out a fictitious conversation in my mind with someone. None of you were involved, but I was playing out a fictitious conversation in my mind and it was like really pissing me off. Now, it was based in reality. It wasn't just like total fiction, but it was based on a situation that happened before and that might happen again. And I was playing it out in my mind. Part of that is practice. And I want you to think about, when is your power low and when are we not speaking up? And how can you speak up effectively? So I did have to role play it in my brain. It does help me to do that. And I think it would help you to do that as well. Also, I'm going to encourage you, if you have a close friend or family member or coach, someone who you trust, to share the situation with and role play with them how you could make it work out differently next time around, then please do that, because I think that's a powerful tool. So consider, when are you playing smaller because you're putting up with something? And why are you doing that? First, consider, why are you doing that? There's always going to be a valid reason for it. I know in the past, I spoke up in meetings, and this is early in my corporate career, and I was kind of slammed for it. I was just like shut down, and I actually was punished in a corporate career way. And so I started playing smaller in terms of asking questions in meetings and showing up, right? And I still was not promoted. I still didn't get that promotion that I felt that I should have. I still didn't get the resources that I needed. So I thought I was protecting myself by playing smaller. And you know what? I wasn't protecting myself. I just still wasn't getting what I needed. But what I was doing was I was avoiding those situations that made me feel so uncomfortable in the past. And there are many people in the world who are happy that you feel uncomfortable because they know that that keeps you smaller. And then they get to continue to do what they want to do, and their power continues to grow. So while we want to think that everyone has our best interest at heart, a lot of people do not. And they're continuing on with their behavior because it helps to aggrandize them and make their power grow. Now, not everybody is that way. A lot of people don't even realize that they're doing these behaviors or doing these things. And that's when it's really valuable for you to have a conversation with them. Because if they're doing it at work, then they're probably also doing this thing, whatever this behavior is, in their personal life. And so if you are to step in and have a conversation, it's going to help that person immensely if they listen to you, if they have the openness and the willingness to hear what you're actually saying. So think about a situation or two that you're putting up with and what it's costing you. I know in the short term, you feel like you're keeping your peace because you're not saying anything, but really, what is it costing you? Is it costing you peace of mind later that day, that evening when you're trying to sleep? Is it costing you your internal power because you're kind of mad at yourself and you're wondering why you're not showing up? Is it costing you a promotion because you're not showing up as powerfully as you could have? Is it costing you projects or experiences that you're not having? It can have all kinds of impact to us. One way to think of this is think of someone that maybe, if you have children or other people in your life and you want to be a good role model for them, How would you want them to view you in this interaction? What would you want them to see if they were an outsider? If this were happening on television, how would you want to be showing up in this situation? So now you're thinking about a situation, and I don't want you to just go in and start changing your response without thinking this through. I want you to really think it through and consider, what is the other person experiencing? Why are they behaving in this way? What's in it for them? And how can you have a conversation with them where you break it down and you say, I understand, or this is my understanding of the situation. This is all sides, but this is impacting me in a certain way that I want you to be aware of. What can we do together to help have a great outcome for everyone involved? Now, you have to have a certain amount of internal power when you go into this. So I want you to practice it. I want you to think about all kinds of different responses that you might get. I am a big believer in power posing. Power posing was introduced in a TED Talk by Amy Cuddy. And while there was some controversy around this and whether or not the results of the study that she discussed could be replicated, I know that power posing works. And it has to do before you go into a meeting, before you go into an interaction, put yourself in a state physically that helps you to bring power into your body and into your mind. And so you have to figure out what works for you, but it might be like standing like this with your arms up, spreading your legs apart, or doing like a Wonder Woman. And that is the Wonder Woman thing, but you might also put your hands on your hips and stand up very powerfully, breathe in deeply several times. I had a client who was an attorney and she used to do this in the bathroom before she went into the courtroom, and she told me it really worked. You want to do this in a place where you are alone and people are not watching you do this, unless allies. These are people that and maybe you're all doing it together. There's a lot of power in that too. I do this in workshops sometimes, and it's so cool when everyone's power posing together. And then I ask them, what's your power pose? What's the thing that works best for you? There was a really good example of this on Ted Lasso. I love the show Ted Lasso. Hannah Waddingham, that's her real name. She plays a woman who is the owner of the team that Ted Lasso goes to work for. And there is a scene where she's about to go into a meeting and she's going to be the only woman. She's going to be the only female who owns a team. So she's the only female around this boardroom. And she knows it's a bunch of shenanigans that are going to go on in that room. So she's a little nervous. And she's also going to be in the room with her ex-husband, who she doesn't love to spend time with. So she does some power posing, and it's such a beautiful moment, and it works for her. Of course, it's fictitious, right? But in the scene, in the episode, it shows that this works really well for her. And she goes in and she just kicks ass in this meeting. So another thing to do is to consider the outcome that you most want from this interaction and visualize yourself achieving that outcome. This is part of the role playing. You're visualizing yourself after, during the interaction, and then after the interaction. How do you feel once you've achieved the outcome that you were going after? And what does life look like for you after that? How does that help you to achieve the goals that fit into the outcome that you were trying to achieve for your life? And does the vision for your life seem even more exciting? Stay powerful, and please practice being more powerful. As you generate more power, you will continue to work towards the outcome that you most want and the vision that you are striving for. And I want that for you in the world. And we need you to be your most powerful self. If you appreciated the insights in this video, subscribe to the channel and you'll be among the first to see new videos when they drop. And if you could take a second to like this video, that small action will be more powerful than you could ever know.